No one came to his wedding, not even his own mother. Everyone mocked him, until the bride arrived, and the whole town almost fainted. Henry was the kind of boy people looked at and sighed. He was poor, skinny, and always wore the same faded shirt, no matter the day. His father died when he was 5. His mother sold vegetables by the roadside, and life kept slapping them like angry rain on a leaking roof. Still, Henry had something rare, a smile that refused to die, no matter how hard things were. He helped neighbors carry water, fixed people's torn slippers, cleaned the church compound, not for money, but because his heart was warm like morning sun. But people laughed. See him, Henry the church rat. No future for that one. He heard them. He felt the sting, yet he smiled. At school, other boys had polished shoes. Henry walked barefoot, but every day when he came home, he knelt and prayed, "God, make my life better one day. Let people not laugh at me forever." Nobody ever expected that prayer to shake a whole town, not even Henry. Henry grew into a young man of 24, tall but gentle, hard-working, respectful, yet still poor. He repaired phones in a tiny wooden stall. Some days he earned just enough for one rubber of Gary and groundnut. One evening, when the sky was orange like fire, a young woman walked into his shop. Her name was Amina. She wasn't from the town. Her skin glowed like she bathed in sunshine, her voice soft like flute music. "My phone is dead," she said. Henry opened it with shaky hands. She was beautiful, like something from a dream. To his surprise, Amina didn't look down on him. She smiled. She asked about his day. She laughed at his jokes. She started coming often, sometimes with a phone issue, sometimes just to sit and talk. People whispered, "Why is that fine girl sitting with Henry? She no get better place go." She pity am. Yet their friendship grew, slowly, softly, like rain filling a bucket. One night under moonlight, Henry gathered courage. "Amina," his voice trembled, "I don't have money or status, but I love you." She stared at him, long, deep, silent. Then she smiled. "I choose you, Henry. Not your pocket. Your heart." The whole world could have frozen. He fell on one knee with a tiny ring he bought after saving for months and asked, "Will you marry me?" "Yes," she whispered. But when people heard they would wed, the town exploded with mockery. "Marry Henry? Is she mad? She will regret it." "Wedding? Wedding where?" Even Henry's relatives refused to support him. On the wedding morning, only 2 plastic chairs stood beside him. The hall was empty. No music, no dancing, just silence, loud enough to break a soul. Henry stood at the altar, hands shaking. The officiating pastor kept glancing at the empty seats. "Son, are you sure people are coming?" he asked gently. Henry swallowed hard. "Yes, sir. Someone will come." But minutes stretched like years. People passed by the church only to laugh. "Look, only him and the pastor. Even his best man run." What a shame. Henry's mother was in the market selling vegetables. She told him she couldn't miss work, not even for her son's wedding. Still, Henry waited. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes. The pastor sighed. "Son, maybe we should postpone." Just then, a black convoy of sleek cars appeared down the dusty road. The cars stopped. Guards stepped out. People ran from shops and houses. Who owns these cars? What's happening? Then she stepped out. Amina. But not the Amina they knew. She wore a dazzling gown that glittered like stars. A crown sat on her head. Gold jewelry shone on her neck. Behind her were cameramen, family members dressed in luxury, and musicians with talking drums The crowd gasped. Ah, she is a princess. No wonder she refused rich men in town. Ha, we have made a mistake ignoring Henry. Everyone who mocked him rushed to the wedding, fighting for seats. The hall that was empty became jam-packed within minutes, but Amina's face carried a secret, a deep one, because she wasn't just a princess. She had come to this wedding with a mission, and what happened next would shake the town more than the empty wedding itself. The drums beat like thunder. People who laughed at Henry were now pushing chairs, adjusting their clothes, pretending they had been supportive from the beginning. Even his mother arrived breathless, wrappers still tied, leaving her vegetables on the ground at the market. "Henry," she whispered, eyes wide, "is that your bride?" Henry nodded, trembling. Amina walked slowly down the aisle, as if time bowed to her steps. Her gown flowed like white clouds. Children threw petals. Trumpets sang. Phones flashed everywhere. Henry's heart pounded. This is real. She came. But as she reached him, he noticed something strange. Her smile was beautiful, but her eyes were sad, deeply sad. She took his hand, cold like morning water. "Henry," she whispered softly, "no matter what happens today, remember, I chose you with my whole heart." Before he could ask what she meant, the pastor began. Guests murmured loudly, "See, is she fine? Henry Don Hammer. What did he use to catch her? Jazz." Others whispered darker things. "She must be running from something. Rich girl, no, just marry poor boy like that." Something is not normal. Yet the wedding continued. When they said, "You may kiss the bride," the hall exploded with cheers. Henry felt like he was dreaming, like someone lifted him from the ground and placed him in heaven. After signing the marriage register, Amina released a tear. Not just joy, but a tear that carried history. Henry saw it. "Amina, are you okay?" She nodded with a shaky smile. "Yes, but I must tell you a story later. A story only my husband deserves to know." Those words planted a seed of mystery in Henry's heart. The reception was grand beyond imagination. Tables loaded with food like Christmas, guests eating, dancing, recording videos, tagging themselves online as if they came early. Even people who mocked his poverty rushed to shake his hand now. "Henry, my brother, we always believed in you. We know you will make it." He smiled politely, but inside he remembered everything. When the last music faded and guests finally left, Henry and Amina sat together, tired, happy, confused, scared. "Why did no one attend at first?" Henry asked. Amina looked down. "Because they didn't know who I was." Then she lifted her head, eyes glistening. "I am not just Amina. I am Princess Amina Suleiman, only daughter of Chief Suleiman, one of the richest men in the state." Henry froze like ice. Chief Suleiman, the strict billionaire, no one approached. Rumors said he owned half the lands in the region. Amina continued. "My father wanted me to marry another rich man, the son of a politician, a proud man, a cruel man. I refused. I met you, humble, kind, real, so I chose you." Henry held her hand, shocked, grateful, overwhelmed. "But why did your family come late?" Amina stared at the night sky through the window. "They came late because they didn't approve, until something happened this morning." "What happened?" She took a deep breath. "You will know soon." She stood, kissed his forehead gently. "For now, let's rest. Tomorrow we'll speak." But tomorrow would bring a storm. The sun rose warm and bright, but inside Henry's chest was a storm. Amina cooked breakfast, jollof rice smelling like celebration. Her laughter filled the small room, but her eyes still carried worry. "Henry," she said softly, "promise me something." "What is it?" "In good days and in bad days, stand beside me." Henry frowned. Why was she talking like danger was coming? "I promise," he replied, placing a hand over hers. As they ate, loud knocks shook the door. Amina stiffened. Henry opened the door slowly. Standing there were 3 tall men in black suits, faces stern. Behind them, a woman in expensive lace stood proudly, Amina's stepmother. Everyone in town recognized her. She rarely smiled, and when she did, it was sharp like a blade. "Henry," she said coldly, "my husband, Amina's father, wants to see both of you. Now." Henry swallowed. His palms went wet. Amina squeezed his hand gently. "It's all right," she whispered, but her voice wasn't steady. They drove in silence to a massive mansion with marble pillars and iron gates that looked like a palace. Inside, Chief Suleiman sat in a grand chair like a king. His eyes were sharp, commanding, unreadable. "Henry," he began, voice heavy, "do you know why no one attended your wedding?" "No, sir," Henry replied softly. Chief Suleiman leaned forward. "Because I ordered it." Henry felt his heart stop. The chief continued. "I told everyone, family, friends, business partners, that the wedding must be ignored. I wanted to prove something." Silence, heavy like a mountain. Henry finally asked, "What did you want to prove?" Chief Suleiman looked at Amina. "To see if she would give up, to see if she truly loved you." Amina blinked back tears. "I told you, father, love is not about wealth." The chief's voice hardened. "And you, Henry, you stood in an empty hall. You didn't run away. You didn't curse. You waited. That means you love her too." Henry tried to speak, but emotions held his throat. Then the chief dropped the bomb. "But love alone is not enough for my daughter. I must know if you are worthy." Henry's heart beat fast. "What must I do?" The chief raised a document. "I want to test you. A test that will decide your future. You either accept or walk away from my daughter forever." Henry's entire body trembled. "What kind of test?" "You will work under me for 6 months. Not as a staff in office, but as a driver, a gatekeeper, and sometimes a maid. If you endure insult and pressure without giving up, then you will truly have my blessing." Gasps filled the room. Amina stepped forward. "Father, this is humiliation." "It is the price of being with you," he replied coldly. "No shortcuts, no comfort, just grit and loyalty." The stepmother smirked. She enjoyed this. Henry stood frozen, heart racing. 6 months of shame, being mocked, serving like a servant in his wife's father's house. But he looked at Amina, and he remembered his promise. "In good days and in bad days, stand beside me." He took a deep breath. "I accept." The chief nodded, surprised. "Then report tomorrow morning." As Henry and Amina walked out, the stepmother whispered with a wicked smile, "We shall see how long your love lasts." Amina's hand shook in disbelief. "Are you sure, Henry?" He smiled gently. "For you, I will face anything." But little did he know, someone inside that mansion was determined to destroy him. And the real twist of this marriage was yet to begin. The next morning, Henry kissed Amina's forehead and left early. The mansion gates were taller than palm trees, guarded like a bank. "Who are you?" one guard barked. "I'm the new driver." The guard scoffed. "You, driver, with that cheap shoe?" He laughed loudly, others joined. Henry smiled gently. He swallowed pride like bitter leaf and walked in. Chief Suleiman didn't even look at him that first day. He only pointed at a list. Wash the cars. All 8. Henry blinked. 8 cars? Under hot sun? But he nodded. He washed from morning till evening, hands aching, feet burning, back crying. When he finished, a senior staff walked to him with a wicked grin. You missed a spot on the Lexus. Wash again. Henry looked at the car. It was spotless, but complaints continued. He washed again, and again, and again. Some workers mocked him. A whole groom yesterday, today a cleaner. Driver, come carry bucket. Your wedding suit no reach hero. But every evening, Amina waited at the gate, food prepared, smile shining like hope. How was your day? She always asked. Beautiful, because it ends with you, he replied, even when his hands shook from pain. She would massage his fingers, wipe his sweat, whisper encouragements like medicine to the soul. Days became weeks, weeks became months. Henry drove the chief to meetings, washed cars, ironed clothes, served water, even mowed the lawn. And each time someone insulted him, Chief Suleiman watched quietly, like a king observing a warrior. One night after work, Amina found Henry asleep on the chair, uniform still wet. She burst into tears and hugged him. Henry, this is too much, he smiled weakly. My love, gold passes through fire before it shines. I will shine for you. But trouble was growing, because someone else loved Amina too. His name was William, handsome, wealthy, proud. He was the politician's son Amina refused to marry. He visited the mansion often, claiming business with Chief Suleiman, but everyone knew his eyes followed Amina like a hunter watching prey. When he heard she married Henry, he laughed. Henry, a church rat, I must end this nonsense. He became a shadow in their lives. One cold evening, as Henry served drinks at the dining table, Williams leaned close to him and whispered, You are not even a servant. You are dust, and I will take your wife. Henry pretended not to hear. He poured juice quietly, but Amina heard. She stood sharply. William, respect my husband or leave this house. He smirked. Husband? You call this pauper husband? You deserve more. Chief Suleiman raised a hand. Enough. Amina has chosen. Respect her choice. Williams forced a smile, but inside, anger boiled like fire in oil. From that day, he planned wickedly. He started paying guards to frustrate Henry. He spread rumors that Henry was stealing. He even lied that he saw Henry flirting with a maid. One afternoon, Henry was wrongly accused of scratching the chief's Mercedes. I didn't do it, he said honestly. But Williams spoke first. I saw him. He was careless. Everyone looked at Henry like a thief. Chief Suleiman stared deeply at him. Is that true? Henry breathed slowly. Sir, I swear by God I didn't, Williams hissed. Poor people and lies. Same mother. Amina stepped forward, voice like thunder. William, why do you hate my husband? He smiled darkly. Because he has something that should be mine. Then suddenly, Chief Suleiman said quietly, Henry, even if it was you, I forgive you. Continue your work. William froze. He expected punishment, but the chief let it go. Henry bowed gratefully. Thank you, sir. He continued serving with humility. And Chief Suleiman watched with hidden admiration. But jealousy is like a snake. If ignored, it grows fangs. One rainy evening, when Henry returned from an errand, he found Amina crying on their bed. What happened? He asked, heart tightening. She handed him her phone. A message was on the screen. Greater than William. Leave that poor man. I can give you the world. One night with me and I'll pay him off. Henry's blood boiled. His hands shook, but he remembered his promise to stand by her, not fight like a child. He pulled her close gently. "Don't cry. Evil never wins forever." But Amina whispered something that stabbed his heart. "Henry, I'm scared." "Of what?" She held his shirt tightly like a drowning person. "My stepmother. She has sworn you will fail, and she hates me for choosing love over wealth." Henry exhaled slowly. "I will endure. For us. For our future." But even as he comforted her, thunder rumbled outside, like a warning, because the biggest twist was coming. A secret no one knew. A storm that would shake the entire city. 6 months passed, like slow rain. Henry had endured everything. Insults, sweat, mockery, lies. Many expected him to give up, but he never did. On the final week of the test, an event was organized in the mansion. Chief Suleiman's 60th birthday celebration. Rich people arrived in fleets of cars, palace-like clothing, gold everywhere, like Market of Kings. Henry was assigned as a waiter for the event. He served drinks silently, respectfully, with a smile, even when guests ignored him like he was air. But something was strange that day. Chief Suleiman watched him from time to time, as though waiting for something. William was also present, with eyes full of fire. He whispered to the stepmother, and they both laughed wickedly. Trouble was coming. A drum roll sounded, lights dimmed, guests cheered. The announcer stepped forward. "Ladies and gentlemen, Chief Suleiman will reveal something important tonight." Everyone clapped. Henry continued serving wine in the crowd, unaware that his name was already in the announcement book. Suddenly, William stood behind him and whispered like a snake, "Today, you will lose everything." Before Henry could react, William deliberately pushed him hard. Henry stumbled, the drink tray flew, and wine spilled all over the chief. Gasps filled the hall. Music stopped. Cameras flashed. People whispered, "He poured wine on the chief." Disrespect. Wedding mistake. Henry knelt immediately, hands shaking. "Sir, it wasn't deliberate. Someone pushed." William spoke loudly first. "Sir, I saw him laughing. He did it on purpose, to disgrace you on your birthday." The hall turned hostile. Even some staff pointed, eager to join the drama. Chief Suleiman stared long at Henry. "Did you do this?" Henry swallowed tears. "No, sir." William smirked. He loved this moment. The stepmother added fuel. "I warned you, my husband. Poor people do not know respect." Amina pushed through the crowd, rushed to Henry's side, and held his hand. "Henry will never do such a thing. He has served with humility." William shouted, "He is liar. Let's check the CCTV." The chief nodded. "Play the recording." Everyone held their breath as the security played the footage on a large screen. In the video, William clearly pushed Henry. The hall erupted with shock. What? So it was William. He framed him. Chief Suleiman's face changed from sternness to anger. He rose slowly. "William." The hall went silent. "How dare you try to destroy a man's dignity in my house?" William stuttered. I was only... Guards! The chief thundered. William was grabbed by 2 security men, struggling like a trapped goat. "Throw him out." He was dragged away, humiliated, spitting threats. "I will destroy you too. You will regret this." But Chief Suleiman was not done. He turned to the crowd. "You all saw how quickly people believed a lie. That is the world. Quick to mock, slow to understand." His voice softened, unexpectedly. "Henry, stand." Henry rose slowly, heart pounding. Chief Suleiman continued, and what he said next stunned everyone. "For 6 months," the chief said, This young man worked like a servant. He endured heat, insult, shame. Yet he never raised his voice. He never fought. He never complained. Such character is rare, like diamond in sand. Then he pointed at Henry. But many don't know who he truly is. Murmurs spread like wind. Who is he? What does he mean? The chief took a deep breath. Henry is not ordinary. His father, the late barrister George, was once my closest friend. The crowd gasped. People looked at Henry differently. The chief continued. Years ago, his father saved my life during a court case and refused payment. He said, "One day, help my son when he needs you." When I heard Henry was marrying my daughter, I remembered that promise. Amina held her chest, shocked. Henry's eyes filled with tears. He never knew his father had such history. The chief faced the guests. I wanted to see if he was like his father, humble, patient, honorable, and he proved even more. He raised his hand. Today, I announce Henry not as a servant, but as my son-in-law with full honor and blessing. Applause thundered. The hall shook with clapping and cheers. But the chief wasn't finished. He signaled to his PA. A large envelope was placed in Henry's hands. "Henry, this is transfer document of 1 mansion, 2 vehicles, and 20 million naira capital to start any business you choose." The hall exploded. People screamed. Some fainted. Others clapped endlessly. Henry burst into tears. Deep tears. Tears that washed years of suffering. Amina hugged him tightly. "I knew God would honor you," she cried, but the chief raised his hand again. "One more thing." He turned to his wife, the stepmother. "You plotted against Henry. You supported William, but evil has expiry date." He removed her from the event management seat permanently. She froze, speechless, embarrassed. Then the chief faced Henry with warm eyes. "Son, forgive those who mocked you, and never become proud when God lifts you." Henry wiped his tears. "I forgive them all, sir." The hall clapped again, but the story was not ending yet. One more twist was coming, the most beautiful of all. Weeks passed, and life transformed like dry land, turning green after rain. Henry and Amina moved into their new mansion. He started a company, Henry Tech Repairs and Smart Solutions, using the capital given. Because he treated people kindly, customers increased like pouring water in a vessel. Within a year, his business expanded. 3 branches, 30 employees, contracts from banks and companies. People who once mocked him now greeted him with respect. "Chairman Henry." "Boss, good afternoon, sir." "You inspire us." One day, he returned to his old neighborhood with food supply and envelopes for widows, children, and workers. He even bought his mother a shop and a car. She wept and hugged him. "My son, you have made me proud." The world that laughed has celebrated. Henry smiled. God lifts the humble. Years later, the town decided to honor Henry and Amina with an award for inspiring the youth. At the ceremony, Henry stood on stage, holding Amina's hand. He looked at the crowd. Some faces that mocked him, some he served, some that doubted him, and many that now admired him. He spoke softly, but his words pierced hearts. No one attended my wedding at first. They left empty chairs for me and laughed. But when my bride arrived, everything changed. Not because of her wealth, but because love walked in. When you choose love, patience, and character, your day of honor will come. Tears filled many eyes. Amina smiled, glowing like the blessing she truly was. They held each other tightly. The boy once called worthless, and the princess who chose him. Their story echoed across the city, then the country, inspiring others that true worth is not in pockets, but in hearts. And whenever people told the story of their love, it always began the same way. Nobody attended his wedding until they saw the bride. Moral lesson: in life, never look down on anyone because of their present condition. Clothes can fade, pockets can run dry, but destiny does not expire. Many rejected Henry because he was poor. They thought nothing good could come from him. Yet the same mouths that mocked him later sang his praises. Life can change in a moment. Tables can turn when nobody expects it. The one ignored today may be celebrated tomorrow. So treat people with love, not because of what they have, but because of who they are. Support dreams, not success alone. And always remember, true love values the heart, not the wallet or the status. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps this channel grow and motivates us to bring more inspiring stories your way. Type "Never look down on anyone" in the comments section if you watched till the end. Tell us what you learned. We love hearing from you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being a part of this story. We appreciate you deeply. God bless you. May you never be forgotten on your day of joy. See you in the next video.